Be able to see me in there, so orange, red, and yellow guy. My beard is probably a little bit lighter than my skin, so it's getting a little thick, guys. So my wife's not real happy about it, but we're going to go with it.
Love a good beard.
So with that, with cold spots, they're going to be blue and black. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. We're looking for them to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. That's what I'm looking for. That's what we've caught in the past. That's hopefully what we're going to capture again. I will always give you some type of perspective of how much evidence I capture from a piece from a tool. But this one, I capture probably 4 to 6 pieces per year. So kind of keep that in mind. However, if we're not recording, we're not going to capture it. Again, looking for those things to move. The cool thing for you guys, when you guys get your video back, it is going to have a blue dot bouncing around the screen. So that blue dot is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. I look for 15 plus degree temperature drops also while I'm looking for those apparitions of a blue person walking towards me. So it is about 58 degrees out here for us. I'm going to be looking for 43 degrees and colder out of that blue dot. So again, you guys are seeing like this, I get very specific with this. So a lot of it I'll debunk right away, like that was a can on the ground or so forth and so on. But you'll see when you guys get your screenshots if I do find something in your video. Now, James? Pass through this location, but we're going to go over the history, and we're going to spread out, staying away from the vehicles. I'm going to do a round robin, normally 1 or 2 in this location, just to kind of see what's going on with your devices, take down a few notes, and then bring us all back here to show you like how it all pieces together, if we have anything at all. So we got to convince Lori, because she's got that grimace on her face. We got to get that off.
You have to convince me. I believe stuff.
All right. So this parking lot used to be something relevant to the history of Charleston. For those of you with communication devices, let me first disclose. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to tell you everything that I know about these locations because I'm not going to give you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse kind of mentality. So you already know what those things are. So I'm going to be withholding information, and I will give you kind of impromptu questions or things we commonly get the answers to after I give you the history of the space. But this used to be the mansion for Charles and Eliza Pinckney. Their mansion sat in the front of this space facing East Bay Street, and Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant slave quarters for the area. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which one is coming through so I know how to address them. You guys getting my point? Perfect. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for South Carolina, but I hate politics more than everybody here. We're going to move on. If I don't give those 2 gentlemen that recognition, they're going to like say something very nasty through a spirit box. I've seen it dozens and dozens of times. So I just give them the recognition, we move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much better story. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say that slowly because if any of you are going to ask how old she was when she got married, don't expect the numbers from the colonial days, like 12 or 14 when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards because the husband was over double her age when they married. Creepy then, creepy now. Anyway, she married her husband because her father was over in England. He thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here, got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card because we are not a country yet. No such thing as a green card, folks. This is a true love story. Respectful place while we're here, by the way. But anyway, she was correct. Dad did not die right away. And instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. A lot of you are wearing it tonight because that's how we use it.
Yeah.
When she got those seeds, though, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from the servants and slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not so warm here all the time. It's warmer than wherever you guys are all from, but it's definitely not warm here all the time. So then she learned how to make the dye right here from them and then moved to a cash crop. Got a hold of Dad overseas and told him that their rice plantations were going downhill in price, that they were going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial days. Something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So, I'm going to kind of go around the room with impromptu questions of things that we normally find out of your style of communication device. Cameras you should already be running. I kind of already see that, which is good. So we're going to actually start off with Jackie's. So, do you see a mansion here? Okay, so you're going to be asking what happened. So she's pretty open about telling us about it. If you get the what, a lot of times we get 2 or 3 numbers from the date of when that tragedy occurred. I just gave you a clue that it's a tragedy. Also keep in mind, with all the communication devices out of my bag tonight, the answers can go anywhere. So Jackie could ask a question, Julie might get an answer. That's why I love to always use a minimum of 2 communication devices. and Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. So you're going to hopefully find out which maiden name of which Eliza we're dealing with. So ELP, hopefully we get out of you, and then hopefully we get the L word out of you, which one's actually here. Let's see. Both spirit boxes. So that would be Julie and Lila. You guys are going to have the same set of questions as well. You guys are going to be going after Eliza's death. So she's pretty open about talking about that. But the four major things that we get answers to would be how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So four major questions that are not yes/no questions. If you're going to ask any questions on a road kind of act, just make sure A, they're not yes/no questions, and that they are respected. So with this location, again, if things start going awry and I see like some of those nasty messages coming through and we have very, very high EMF readings coming out of Jessica's, I'm sorry, I just called you just Jess. So if I see like steady, like triple digits, we might have to look out of here a little bit earlier. So with that said, keep in mind there's somebody getting into that truck over there, but we are going to spread out, and I am going to be keeping Maddie and Erin behind so I can show her a little bit more about that device, and I'm going to do 1 or 2 round robins to show you what's going on. What do you have on there? Ooh, here. Oh, I thought it said here.
Oh.
Okay. Anything before that?
Julie got
We had season,
season and joined.
Okay.
and then there was back there you had
Praying sisters.
yeah.
Okay.
Back in the
Said
bar.
what?
I heard something like it was like while you were talking.
Okay. Looking for those specific details.
Yeah,
A lot of the stuff I'm going to say, that's pretty
Yeah,
vague. Like,
that's
tell
pretty
you
vague,
doesn't really
Yeah,
mean
that's
anything.
why.
All right.
How did she die?
You're going to find out from that. That's the whole point.
Okay.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
We have to
'Cause
figure
I
out.
got smallpox. I don't know.
You heard the word smallpox coming out of that? No shit. It's wrong, but that's kind of a crazy thing to hear on a spirit box.
Yeah, I heard
Especially through
smallpox.
today's radio station. I'll
That's
be writing that one
really
down. That's very weird.
No, there's something going on.
All right, so the only exit for vehicles and entrance is where we came in, so keep that in mind as well. All right, everybody spread out and figure out how to unmute that thing.
Let me sit down.
Okay, go ahead and get unmuted. Maddie and Aaron, you guys can stay with me for just a minute. All right.
Hold under.
Right. Yeah. Is that what that was? Okay, so don't do that whenever it fills up. Okay, perfect. Yeah. My God. No, it's interesting, and I was like, that's Hotel Transylvania. That's the movie.
Yeah. I got healthy, and then I got my husband.
Yeah?
It's pretty good. It's a lot of music. I got like Nelly and Sam Smith, Taylor Swift. I'm getting a lot of music.
stay here. It's over there. Stay here.
Give you a lot of that spooky old stuff.
Okay.
You know, it's added in there too, just not all.
All right. What do you got going on?
Oh, I keep hearing something else forever. It said something about 40. And then it said something, it was a song, but it had the
Where
word.
you got your high mark, Chloe?
And then the song said, I know. Because she said,
A lot of people, when you're using the spirit box, they'll use their phone. So, a lot of people.
it was like right, like, in one spot. Like,
And then it probably went down to like less than 5.
yeah. It went crazy.
Yeah, if it was from something man-made, so you know, it would have hovered in that
Yeah,
tiny.
Yeah, we were like, I was like, I don't know.
So if it was from like a grandfather or your cell phone, it could like maybe say it's 98, 91, and you would hover in that area.
No, it like jumped.
Yeah.
96. And then like, 72.
Alright, I'm looking for Lila. Where'd she go off to?
Right there.
She off in the corner?
The long ponytail.
Win.
Huh?
Win.
At the harvest.
It's pretty good.
You seeing any stuff though? Cool spots.
Just the ground.
Harvest. Abuse. Who else? So they got harvest. For you abuse of the harvest. Defeat.
James, anything weird out of yours?
No, not a whole lot.
I got slap and abuse.
None of that going on here. All right, everybody, bring it on back.
Harvest. I got harvest.
More stuff about the plantation. Yeah, very interesting. So where's Julie? 'Cause I know she was one of the first people I talked to. She'll see what else she got. Jackie, did you hear something that said 7 out loud? Is that what came out?
I think it was one of these two, 7.
Did you guys hear the number 7?
No, I mean, it's at 7. 12 and 30.
Okay.
I have like random numbers.
12 and 30.
We got a really clear attorney general.
I'm gonna write that one down because I could have been one of the positions from one of the Pinky Men.
It said, I wrote down all the
Well, read them off to me. I'll pick and choose what I want.
Okay. It said, I'm not sad.
Okay.
It said, love, but that could have been a song. And then there was 12. It said, take your breath away and really work it out.
Maddie had asked if she was happy or sad.
Oh. I said I'm not sad.
Perfect.
It's
Okay.
It's weird. Yeah, some of them were like songs, but they stop like it's one sentence.
I kept just trying to figure out who the president was.
It's all right. I'm going to reveal all of those answers right now. I do like the number 12, so I'm going to be writing that one down. The Attorney General piece, like that one's just weird. So I'm just, I mean, it's, yeah, we hear it on the radio all the time when we
This
use
attorney
things,
is
but
good.
we're going to see if anything actually pops up
It,
out of that
it
for one
got
of the positions.
above 100.
Oh, yes, I need to explain the EMF. How high above 100?
I was 110.
110.
Yeah.
So let me explain the EMF readings that you guys are getting. So, Chloe, did you get anything other than your 4.6?
No.
Okay, so that was the highest that we got out of yours. So, Jessica actually had a few readings, 60, 70, 90, 96, and 110.
It's like crazy.
Let me explain what that's doing. It's reading electricity around the air. We're in a space with no electricity. Your TV puts off about 40 to 60 milligauss, depending on how much you guys have plugged in your TVs. Which, by the way, if you have cameras running, you can turn them off at this point and kind of give your hands a break.
I think that she did. That was smart.
Okay, what do you got?
I got New Girl, lots of piano music. You Will Be in Heaven, At the Store, 4 years, like just like, not spelling number 4. 3 and 4, 17, Charleston, Rubs, and I've come to help him if you receive and everyone.
So, I mean, you have some specific things in there, but mine is pretty so I kind of shows the details.
Right here.
Where you at?
We also got 17
Okay.
every night in 200.
Oh, I got 200 too. I just didn't put it down.
Yeah, it's hard to know what I'm like thinking.
Yeah.
Should I put this through?
I know, I'm like, is it,
Well,
is
it's
it
all the
just
weird stuff.
playing
So,
something?
Julie, what did you hear?
The only thing I didn't listen
Oops,
to
sorry.
it said in the city.
Get out of the way.
And there was a whole bunch of random, I can't really hear it.
That's why you
So
got
mushed together.
Yeah. Whatever you're meant to hear is what you'll hear. And don't second guess it. Like, so if it's not like house or mouse, it's your first instinct. So if you
Okay.
think you heard house, it wasn't house. That's kind of how I look at this.
Okay.
Okay?
My thing jumped to 30 only on here.
Crosswalks.
Yeah.
Yeah, parking meters, crosswalks are going to make it go off every time. So with the baselines of yours, you're going to stay down to 2.5, just because again, I know it's not as sensitive as hers. But with yours, Jessica, I definitely want to keep it like above 8 milliamps. That's your baseline, only because we have these lampposts and we're right next to the building. Just so everybody knows, like that dude's kind of in my spot where I like to be. So in the event that he moves, so he will actually move down there because I do talk about the gate that he's standing in front of. Again, it's not part of like the history that I'm going to give you exactly for the story, but it is something relevant so you guys can see how I do the research. But anyway, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. By the way, any weird words? What were the last 3 or 4?
Agree, definitely. Sub and soft.
All that bullshit, right? That sounds like
Maybe.
okay.
You tell me.
We're gonna find out. So this is Philadelphia Alley, but it used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. And every ghost tour comes down here. This was the space that I was looking to take out this year. But this guy gives me so much damn evidence, and you're gonna see like ghosts. I don't believe ghosts are stuck anywhere because he actually likes to show up during our Estes method sessions too. And a lot of times I'm gonna tell him to get the hell out. We're trying to talk to somebody else. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But this place in particular, I'm going to be coming here intermittently because there is a new space for this year, but I'm only doing it during the weekdays because the weekends are too loud and we need it to be completely quiet while we do it. So Fridays and Saturdays, as you guys can see, is the hustle and bustle of the city. So anyway, we're going to talk about these duels. Every ghost story tells the same story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because we're ghost hunting. We're not doing the campy, cheesy marshmallow kind of, tour that they're doing down there. So let's get into it. The doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. said Rhode Island. Where's my Ouija board? Who has that? Here. Okay. So you're gonna be looking for the letters RI. Did you do a hard reset?
Yeah, I just did. It's going through the next
Okay.
cycle.
Just scream out if we get an RI in that order. Don't have it IR.
Okay, great.
So Rhode Island. Dr. Ladd moves. Oh, by the way, the rest of you, if you hear the song "Brown Eyed Girl" while we're here, it is not coincidence. It's part of his name. We get it all the time. But anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancee Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So is that the school moving, or are we just moving through? We're gonna let them pass through. Oh, perfect. Go back down to our spot. We're all on the ground. How's it going, boss? All right. Good. How are you?
Yeah. Okay, we gotta go back to like.
All right. Yes, gotta catch up.
No.
Lila just heard the word brown, everybody, just so you guys know. Can't make this shit up. So maybe she is, I don't know. But we're going to find out if it shows up on... Oh, you don't have the one that's recording. By the way, I did it this way with the recording and non-recording because you were so excited, like you've done this before. So I kind of figured I wanted to give the recording to somebody that I felt that hadn't done this before. So this way we can kind of go through it. But anyway, so Amanda, who just inherited all this money, has an attorney. And this attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's cash flow. So he tells Amanda, get rid of that doctor guy. He's going to take all your money. So Dr. Ladd moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So on his way into town, the coachman he had set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Do you guys remember the initials that I told Maddie to look for? All right. You can see why. Because I never knew where it actually belonged. We were getting it all the time on regular spirit boxes, so that's the reason I bought. Where's she at? Oh, she's holding it over here to my left. That's the reason why I bought this device, was for this location. We got it about half a dozen times in the past year whenever I brought up Ralph Isaac's name. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman that was trying to kill him. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room from friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer, and the two gentlemen became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making with his medical practice. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So Amanda gets wind of this, and she's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. There's another reason I was going to take this space out is because every haunted city has a whistling ghost. It's a cliche and a trope, and I hate it. But it is a true story, so we do get quite a few whistles down here. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So, on the way home from seeing Richard III, they're arguing over the actress that they just saw. She was new to town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great, and Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, and it got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. But I've already told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Dr. Ladd saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to basically shoot each other, and somebody's going to die over this argument over an actress. Kind of dumb and stupid, right? So anyway, they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one bullet. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happened at a duel. They either shoot it in the air or off to the side. So, Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc doesn't die, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Let me point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different back then than what they are now. We also have a doctor who got shot. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed, obviously. Every ghost story tells you to listen for the whistles because it's always this quiet. This is a busy Friday night. You guys seen, like, we're basically 2 blocks away from East Bay Street, a very happening, part of our city. This is what it sounds like on a busy Saturday afternoon. However, if you're going to try and walk through here and capture whistles on your own, I want you to keep in mind that every local knows the story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down this alley. I do it every single night. So I'm just one of those people, especially since I got thrown out of here. Which, by the way, we actually have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a whistle, it's more than likely going to be on one of those 4 devices. Not to mention the 2 spirit boxes. I can't tell you how many times I've caught a whistling part of a song and the word doctor immediately after from a commercial. It's happened dozens and dozens of times in the 4 years I've been coming here. So, kind of keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about how I got kicked out of here. That's the fun part of the story. This alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There was a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street. Now you can see why I wanted to come down here to the gate, because it's a perfect reference of halfway. The reason why is because this was Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. They needed to keep them all bundled in, and there was only one way out. So, what does that mean for you? That means that the bricks on the other side are older than the ones you're standing on. Those bricks on the end by Queen Street are sun-dried bricks from slave children. It's full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups down there for a history lesson, nothing paranormal. But you keep in mind when I think of graves, I think of the same thing as that brick as I do a grave. That kid is not there. It's the last place you're going to find him. However, November 26th, 2020, my entire team of 10, same size as this, is huddled around one brick waiting for something to happen with the tools that I handed out. I know nothing's going to happen. I'm trying to shoo them along because I'm trying to be respectful to the beautiful mansion where outside the man is banging the window. He was not happy about that. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because she was on the tour that night. She's about 14 years old that night, that year. And in a nutshell, we moved on after he started done with his yelling. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management, and you guys like to fight over towels. Thank you for scarring me for life. I'm working on Thanksgiving. So the next day, it was the 28th, I called my partner, I told him what happened. He laughed at me, just like my daughter did, and he said, you're only allowed to go down halfway, which is about where that tour is right now. Other than that, it's residential. It's out of bounds for tourists. We're not allowed to go down there. So I had to reroute my group, but I didn't really care for the next story. So I told my group that night, because I'm sold out again on Black Friday, and I've never had anything happen. We're going to wing it and see what goes on. I'm also a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So obviously we're going to be discussing pirates next. But before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be discussing, the female pirate, Anne Bonny. So I was like, oh shit, maybe we're actually going to get something. We get over there, I told them what I did know about piracy, which wasn't much because I only had to do quick research. Somebody else, here's the number 300 on a spirit box. I don't know what it means, I wrote it down. Turns out, we were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So, that's normally the reaction that I get, but I was actually pissed. Let me explain. All my degrees are in writing. When I'm writing fiction, nonfiction, or researching things for the paranormal, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy, which makes me have to read more books to be able to validate all of our findings. I have read more books on pirates, watched more documentaries, TV shows, played video games, you name it. If it's on pirates, I've done it, just to make sure I had more versions of the story. So hopefully when we get over there and I give you the history of Anne Bonny, you guys get things relevant to Anne and things from Dr. Ladd. So again, most people get the Dr. Ladd thing out of them, and then somebody's going to hear his birthday, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's bleed over from the alley. So kind of keep that in mind as we go back, out and around the other way. We are going to definitely be listening to yours along the way for sure. The history over there, I want you to keep in mind, is pirate history. It's a roll of the dice if she's going to be there at the same time we are, as it is with most paranormal events. But with Anne, she is said to be seen in other places too. So we'll kind of see how this goes. Has anybody seen or heard anything before we leave the space that I need to know about? Lila, we'll start with you. You guys have been texting like crazy.
I heard Afraid and Rhode Island, God, Chris, Keith, but I figured generally.
Why are you not excited about Rhode Island? That's huge.
Yeah, I know. I heard Rhode Island and I'm like, oh, he talks about it.
Exactly.
I heard No Respect for Men, Red Wine, the song. The Men, James is.
I got a few names too.
What do you got?
I got a second. I heard Laura Trailer. I heard Carriage. I heard Bird. Then I heard Cherry. I heard Promise. Called 80 Acres. 80 Acres. I am the first one.
I'm going to point something out. And again, remember I told you things will just kind of show up and it's relative to something very close by. You heard the word promise and 80 acres. I'm not positive on the 80 acres piece, but that Charles Pinckney, one of them, the signers of the Constitution, is literally buried on the other side of this wall. So he introduced the Pinckney's promise to the Constitution, and he was a plantation owner here in the area. So I'm going to look to see the size of his plantation, and if it was 80 acres and we had the word promise right next to it, I'm almost going to shit up right now. So I'm actually pretty excited about that.
Well, it said in a line,
1 acre and a mule or something.
And then it said Ricky, and then it said I am the first.
Well, again, you're going to hear things that aren't relevant. Remember, it's a 50-50. So that's what stood out to me was promise right away, because we do get it here all the time. And then the 80 acres, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So again, I do like the Rhode Island. Like that's a big piece, obviously. I would actually point your antenna in. Like I would put it right back to its original state. You don't want to get too much. So if you get an antenna, it's going to start getting better reception. That's the point. I almost want to take them off, but we need some reception.
Okay.
So, any other words I need to know about before we leave?
I heard like, did I say like party?
Okay. Keep it simple, but has anybody heard anything or seen anything that may have stood out to you? Because there's a lot here that I need to go over.
I just heard axe.
Oh.
I heard talk to me while we were walking.
Okay.
I heard mess with their mind. Literally was like mess with their mind.
Okay.
And then it sounded like children singing at one point. I heard asthma, and then I heard work in a family, and then it just played the word devil from the Doja Cat song. I know it's
Oh, I'm getting a lot of Doja Cat.
but it just
I don't know that
played
song.
that. It was only that, and I was like,
I don't even know what that song is. Who the hell Doja Cat?
oh,
Showing my age here, everybody. Anything more specific than what she just said?
I got congested. That's when I went to said
Asthma.
yeah.
I got after face hit, like, to the rhythm, Charlotte, home, dad, Christian, fear. Let's get bad. Pray.
Okay. We're near the church. I expect a lot of religious terms. Lori, you're up.
Disembodied. Just came up.
Okay. Anything before it? On the way here?
Shift, wait, silent.
Okay. Okay, so we got a lot of weird stuff going on. And I hate to tell this story, especially when we have somebody that's pregnant here, because there's a lot of dead kid stories here in Charleston. I hate to say it like that, but there's a lot. You guys heard the words like baby and lullaby and all of those kind of things at the other location. Across the street is where most ghost tours will do their big finale because they actually have something to show. I don't always tell this story unless you guys obviously get things relative to it. It is over at the St. Philip Church, and that's because there's a sign right inside the cemetery next to it. The sign reads, "There's no ghost here, just a Holy Ghost." Because they don't want jerks like me with the crazy cameras like they gave Ray over there to be trying to recreate what happened. So here's what happened. 1888, a young lady passes away 6 days after her stillborn child. It's a very sad story, right? And you guys did hear My Fault as well. That's what kind of stuck out to me. Who heard My Fault? So again, when all that went through and I heard My Fault, I'm like, yeah, this is weird. So 1987, 99 years later, we have a photographer here in town that's putting a book together of all the cemeteries, and he goes over there and he captures a full apparition sitting next to this woman's grave. Which, by the way, this woman's name was Sue Howard Hardy. You guys already know I'm big on initials. Anybody want to tell me what those are? Exactly. So we've had those initials show up on your word list, and we've also had it spelled out on the Ouija board. Where you at, Maddie? So we've had SHH show up here. Again, literally, can't make this stuff up, guys. I wish I could. Okay, what do you got now?
Bring her.
Bring her. I don't know the gender of the child either. So
I got Georgie.
But anyway, so that apparition, if you guys get into paranormal stuff, you've probably seen this photo, because if you dive into the best apparitions ever caught, this usually falls into a top 100 list. So I'm going to go around the room, but the photo is cursed, and we have mainly females here, which is another reason why I don't show this picture. Please don't touch the tablet. It is said that females that basically handle a picture, even in digital formats, meaning touching it on your phone or through my tablet, have the same symptoms that can cause, like what I talked about at the beginning: headache, nausea, dizziness. Pregnant females that handle it said to not have a good pregnancy. I'm gonna be standing far away. So I'm not gonna be the guy that cursed somebody's family. If you guys get my point, I do this for a living. So I'm gonna go kind of around and show everybody what this picture is, and then we will get into the pirate story that's actually here, and then we'll fully be able to explore this space once I've already left. Perfect. I'm not
There's a
surprised.
cat.
I get it here all the time. Here's a full picture that we took.
Oh, I saw that cat like 10 minutes at the beginning of our tour.
With a baby basket next to her. So I'll go 2 by 2 so everybody can see. So,
I got Barb and Jesus.
woman back,
And then I got
kneeling over her grave, and then the baby basket. It is. It's very sad. So you're looking at her back. There's a baby basket right next to her. Is it? Oh, that's Jackie.
It's a real
I saw him
Full picture?
earlier.
And then your apparition, you're looking at her back with the baby basket right next to her.
Wow.
You see her kneeling there. But the basket, even like on a computer, if you like really zoom in, you can see the weaving of the basket. So like it's pretty detailed, pretty crazy stuff. All right, let's come on over and talk about pirates. This one's got a lot going on. So did you guys notice that that building has crosses on it? Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you don't know what those are because you haven't taken other tours in Charleston, quick explanation is that they are turnbuckles. They look like that on the other side, and if in the event that we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I've already mentioned to you guys, which we haven't, by the way, you could turn those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town as far as Charleston Charm bullshit, and this building right here, the apartment building, also has earthquake bolts on every single floor on all 4 sides. So kind of a weird crossover thing. But anyway, we're here because of those earthquake bolts. Those are the first set that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is that is the gunpowder magazine. It's a museum now, but it held gunpowder for 7 different wars, and it is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start her new life. So it's what I call a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows and you've seen the Boo Buddy, right? That's the little teddy bear with the little blinky light EMF meter in it. Yes. They use that to try to attract a child ghost. Am I correct? Yes. Because the child will recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. We don't have many buildings in Anne Bonny's era. So we're here, hopefully that she's here at the same time. So kind of keep that in mind. That's why I said this one's a big roll of the dice. Now, history begins in the middle of this building's construction because the construction did take 10 years. Does that sound like our government? Small building? 10 years? No, not at all. 1708. Try to follow me on this one. There's a couple of twists. I will slow down on the twist, but I'll race through everything else. Young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress, and the mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? The 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was the wife that she kicked him out of the damn country when there's no such thing as airplanes yet? Yeah, she's mad. Anyway, they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. So that means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from that plantation to help keep things afloat. Hence the familiar building. So Anne back home in Ireland, though, when she was a little girl, was said to be a badass even when she was little. When she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, nothing is going to be exact, they say Anne killed a servant with a knife to the belly. Can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly on different communication devices. Happens all the time. Anyway, fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. She's going to fall in love, so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. So, the first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through them all. That's what makes the story. Sorry, guys. But that's how this one goes. First guy is James Bonny. Some of you heard the name James back at Philadelphia Alley, am I correct? I thought so. I think I wrote it down. But anyway, James Bonny is a filthy pirate, and Dad doesn't approve, so they ran away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the female, like her pirate name came from. But anyway, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which makes him a spy for the British. He is a coward. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack, hence the name Jackie on the cat. I used to call her Jack until I found out she was pregnant. Now she's Jackie. But anyway, Calico Jack has his own ship. Oh, by the way, this is the guy they based your Johnny Depp guy off of, so kind of keep that in mind. But anyways, Jack has his own crew, and he has his own ship, and Anne wants to be part of the crew. You cannot put a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So I normally throw that question back to you guys, but I think I'd get some dirty answers right back. Like, why can't you put a female on a pirate ship? Of course, all the attention goes to Jackie. Thanks, Jackie. Steal my show again.
Jackie!
Yeah, she had to come over.
She's here. So, Jack makes a deal with Anne and says, if you want to be on my ship, you got to dress like the crew, which means she's got to dress like a guy. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So she's good with this. However, she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together, adults. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew, right, Jackie? I mean, looking like you. So not everybody will know that he let a girl on the ship and they'll vote him off. Or Jackie. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show her pregnancy and says, has the baby here, come back later and we'll figure it out. She went and had that baby, but returned without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. Now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship, and they're going to vote him off. So she's going to go make him even more mad, and she's going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. He's on below deck. Guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, just like the guy, to be part of the crew the Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females, just like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Mary and Anne became friends, maybe lovers. We're not going to really be sure on that one because of the time frame. But the British find out where they are, and they send a whole fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks, because they don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a fleet of ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain and her bow, Calico Jack, and she says,
I'm pregnant.
no, we're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
She looks at Jack and she tells him, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up all the time. Now, the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front and they scream, "We plead our bellies," meaning they are claiming to be pregnant, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her back home, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, the guy
We're
number
looking
4.
for cool
We're going to count
spots.
Mary because we don't really know her. I know. That we know. So, she has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know jack shit about her after her pirate career because it's all for speculation. So, there's many, many rumors, and I don't like to spread rumors as you guys already know. Mary Reed died 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. It was your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to say make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? It's pirates. Now, I'm not going to control the environment like what I did at the Pinckney Mansion site with you guys with the questions. I'm just going to tell you a couple of things that I left out on purpose so you guys have something to work with. You can ask whatever the hell you want to here, and you can be respectful, not respectful. We'll see, kind of see how it goes. With Miss Pinckney, we have to be respectful or else we won't get answers. Anne can be, either way. If you smoke, I actually encourage it here, right? So again, only because we're talking about pirates. I would say if you have a bottle of rum, go for it. Get my point. I did leave out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I didn't tell you what those were, but I do know what they are. The name of Calico Jack's ship is also on board, if you guys want to talk about that. The city where Anne grew up and the color of her hair. Everything else you guys want to ask is fair game. Stay away from the 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles that we have in here, but we can spread out to the entire location. EMF readers. The closer you get to those bushes, the higher your readings are going to go, because we have perking meters along with the holes in the corners. Kind of be mindful of that. I'm more excited about readings back here than I am over there. So, Arrow. That one was not just right. That's what we're talking about. Nice and slow motions out of your guys' cameras. Let's spread out, and I'll let you guys get to work. I don't blame you. Sit down.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Last time I went home with a camper on my leg, my dogs went here.
Did they? Yeah.
Jackie comes on here. I have 3 left.
They're done at the same level.
Correct. My wife, she works at that office. So she's going to school for us. There's animals. So she comes with us all the time, and they just maul her. And she gets home with stress on her. Any other craziness that I need to see? It's kind of a weakness tonight. Again, I've had nights when that thing is blowing up and stuff. It matches up with everything else.
What's up, cat? You know I don't like cats. Come here. Come here. Oh no. Not a big cat fan, but you're a good one. Come here. Jackie. What are you doing?
Like keeping Jack
Yeah, he's just hanging with me back here.
Anything weird on that camera?
Nothing. No, nothing too crazy.
Hey, you have permission to use my voice and likeness in that video. My man!
Welcome to Friday night.
Yeah, it sounds like he's had a couple.
Yeah, just a few. That camera is actually acted up in this location.
Oh, really?
And whoever it was filming, their device stopped. There was almost like static that went over in front of
I
that
mean,
person.
what should I mean, what would be something that you would look for? I mean, like dark blue spots? Like, I mean, obviously that's a windshield.
Right, but I'm going to look for that to move.
Okay.
And on here, I would actually look for something growing in heat. So temperature balances, like it's not created.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a heat spot and it's growing in temperature pretty quickly,
Okay.
and I can see the color change pretty rapidly, that
I
means there's a
gotcha.
cold spot being generated somewhere else.
Gotcha.
So I do look for heat anomalies too. I just don't always bring it up because that's too much science for a large group like this.
Yeah.
So again, if it shows up, I kind of like, all right, guys, we did get like a 25-degree heat index. You
Yeah.
know, it's above our normal.
Just something outside the box, whether it's
You
up
got
or
it.
not. Okay, gotcha.
But with yours, like I'm literally looking for somebody to be a blue entity when you have, you know, the two ladies in view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've caught that, like walking right towards us.
Really?
Like, oh yeah. And what was funny was it was an 8-year-old girl that caught it.
No kidding.
So I literally, because, you know, she's a little kid and she's walking with it and it's bouncing.
Yeah.
So I literally had to grab all the frames and piece them together and see, like, almost make a flip book out of the
And
screenshots.
she probably didn't at the time.
She had
even
no
know
idea.
Wow.
No idea. And the person was about her height, and it was at the Big Red Barn.
Really?
Yep. It was an amazing catch.
Wow.
But, I
But
mean,
it's kind of, that's what this is. I
Yeah.
mean, you can never guarantee anything at any night.
but that's why I like to throw the stats on you guys of, like, what I capture, because I am out here 7 nights a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's never the same.
It's never the same. I never know what you guys are going to find. That's why I write down all this shit. Like, yeah, that's common. Or,
Yeah.
like, ooh, that's new.
Yeah.
You know, that 1862? Like, damn, that's close. The
Yeah.
year was 1861.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a close but no cigar.
Yeah.
Like, ever. 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Biggest arc was intelligent, moving towards me. I didn't know it was there. It spun
Tired.
and then went up and dissipated while in screen. Like, it was giant. And that was probably about a year and a half ago. And it coming in spun.
But I keep pointing at this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Use a beverage. But you kind of, like with Chloe, you can see she's got a jacket on top, so you can kind of see her legs.
Rubber.
Yep.
My orange.
Mm-hmm. There's the cat in the video. You see exactly where he's at. Or she.
Mm-hmm. She's
Preggers.
She's preggers. She's been hooking around that cat.
With Jack.
Jack.
Jack and Jackie have been hooking up. She's preggers. Oh, she's, yeah. I think she's preggers. Her belly.
Willie, what do you got coming out of yours? And we're gonna wrap this up. What do you got coming out of yours? What about you?
Where are we at?
Hmm?
Are we done? Yeah.
The family members for the two ladies sitting, someone to be close by because they will need a signal of when we're done or when they are too loud. We do have neighbors nearby, big house over here. I don't like to piss anybody off. You guys get my point?
Yeah.
So kind of keep that in mind. But I'm going to go teach them the history. You guys sit there and play origami projects for a few minutes and become besties, and they'll be right back. All right? Everybody else, come with me.
Be safe.
Yep. We're all surprised this year and jumped in on that, are we not?
No, I was coaching it. Don't worry about it.
Good on you.
I just texted his best friend. I was like, this is fucking VR shit we're gonna do.
All right, so this one's very short and simple. And then, again, this is a weird one. So this guy isn't always like super happy for me to be here. So just kind of keep that in mind. It might take me a few minutes to get him to start coming through. But the first time I came in here, I was just testing out the space. It was November, because I always test after Halloween, after my busiest season. And I only had 2 people that night. So we used the spirit box, and I told the young lady, just tell me whatever you hear, because I don't even know who the hell's haunting the place. We're just testing stuff out. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using Lori's word list that night because with 2 people, I still add extra things on me. That's why I have all the pockets. And I had the name Tim on my word list. Behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod. Anybody want to guess what year he was born? 1828. So it's kind of like, well, hot damn, there's my ghost. So what you need to know about him is he was sick for most of his life, and he was a writer. Being born in 1828, he goes out to the battlefield of the Civil War because he wants to go fight for the Confederates. His comrades realized he's too sick to fight. They sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and said, go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to basically write what was going on in the battlefield. So he came back to Charleston and started writing poetry about what was going on out there. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty prestigious title in case you're not familiar with the writing world. However, a couple years go by and he has a son. The son's name is Willie, and he was born on Christmas Eve, but he dies 9 months later. I'm sorry, another sad kid story, Jackie. I keep throwing him right at you. But anyway, so him and his wife Katie are mourning, and he's not writing as much. His other colleague, his name is Paul Hamilton Hayne, he's another writer, realizes he's not writing as much, and he offers him his cottage in Columbia. He says, go get back on track, leave your wife behind. Her parents were here helping her mourn. So he goes out there and he wrote his last words. He writes, beholder of brief mortality, and then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there on the page, pen in hand. He was 38 years old. We are here because of the blood stain. The blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. It was a perfect legendary mark for a writer to leave behind. Now they show this page, the literal page of what he coughed on, at the Charleston Library Society one day a year on Halloween. You have to be a member to go see it, but the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to hopefully go talk to Henry. See how this one's nice, short, and brief? So, I'll go around this way. It seems like you already know the damn story.
I'm sorry.
So here's his last page. Cough, cough, death. Here's his blood stain.
Oh, wow.
We call this the blood book, by the way. So, you can see the last page. Brief mortality, cough, cough, tuberculosis. Sick, I know, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is a pretty great
Yeah,
story
it's
for us to
really
end on. I started off with a nice, easy one, and now we're on some bloody stuff. So keep in mind, guys, like I kept it so you guys would be able to remember these stories. We talked about a football player, we talked about a plantation owner, we talked about a doctor, and then a pirate, and now we're discussing a lady. How I gave all these guys different jobs and how I'd be able to decorate all this stuff together. So let's see if we can get Henry to come through these ladies. Keep filming. Let's do this.
These masks are not working very well. I think I broke it as well.
How?
So I am supposed to break it down? Oh, I was looking.
Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going to do is we're going to keep
You're
nice
gonna go
and
where?
huddled in here, guys. Cameras, make sure we have some good angles on this. Don't put anything on it. You guys need to know what you're looking for. So here's my volunteers for the ladies' center. Okay.
Thanks, sis.
All right, so here's what's going to happen. In the event the two of you are talking too loud, because you're literally going to be telling me everything you hear, you're going to be talking over each other a little bit, as much as you guys heard. So if you're too loud, your family member is going to tap you on the shoulder. Okay? I will never touch you. Just kind of know that. When we are done, you're going to get a tap on your leg. So leg means you take off your own gear. I want everybody to notice I will not write anything down while we're here, simply because I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye on all three person's breathing, because we have people, had hyperventilation during this. We've had one seizure so far. There is a little bit of speculation that I have to keep a track on. So don't forget to talk. So some people get in there and they forget, like they're just listening and listening and listening. You have to tell us what you're saying, because I'm going to be asking questions. This is also an instance where it's okay to say yes/no answers if you hear them. You don't know what my question is. I might ask for a ghost if I'm wearing a black vest. I'm expecting one of you two to say yes. Does that make sense? So whatever you hear, just start spouting it out. You're going to be getting images. It's not going to be 3D in your face VR like what you're probably used to. They're going to be just images floating like a picture or an art piece. You're just going to explain very simply, because these two are going to be chatterboxes. I can already tell you right now, just based on what they've been doing all night. Very simple. 3 people, bench, tree. If they're not talking, I'll ask you probing questions. So you might get 1 image, you might get 12. We never know. I've had nights where we haven't had any. So again, you're going to see a cloud of smoke, and then your image will show up in front of that cloud of smoke. You're not looking for something in the swirls, you're looking for an actual image when that actually shows up. So, ladies, it is blindfolds, then headphones, and make sure you're not touching your spirit boxes. We want to make sure you're not cheating and hearing my questions. So once you find your volume that you're comfortable with, don't touch them. So I'm just gonna
Dad, if there's any cuss words, do I get the pass to say them?
Yep.
Got it.
All you're going to do is not share it.
Really, my ears are so
Once you get your headphones on, it'll hold in place. Takes a second for it to sync. And by the way, this is using EMF from around us to be able to create these images. See how it's like smoke? You see just an image in front of you. So the slide that in there. You've used these before, I take it? Yep. Okay, so you know that your focus is right here.
Are we starting?
Front.
Not yet. Put your mask
Yeah,
on.
when do we start?
Go for it. As soon as you guys start talking. It's 11 o'clock on the
Are we
dot.
starting now?
Yes.
Got it.
All right.
Wait, let me turn it up so I don't hear it.
Who brought this kid? Okay. Henry? So first off, what color is a blue banana? Okay, I can't hear. Henry? I have 2 ladies sitting here blindfolded. This is Lila and Julie. And this is Erin. You can see whatever you want us to see tonight. We're going to be doing this triple. We don't always do it this way. But if you're here, I want you to give us something about your occupation. Tell us anything.
Hey, over 300.
Okay? That doesn't
I
mean
see a library.
Oh, look at that. Thank you, Henry.
No, this is unshackled.
Henry, I appreciate the library. Can you give us a little bit more description on that?
It's a library with a red-haired person sitting in a chair.
Okay. And for the red-haired person is.
President. Nobody cares what you name it.
Henry, I like the library piece.
Left or right?
Let's elaborate a little bit more on it. Notice she said the word left or right. I asked about his job. He was a writer. So, again, it might be out of context, but it is the correct phonetic sound. Henry, is anybody else here with you tonight?
Favor.
That's a yes/no question, Henry. Is anybody else here with you? Henry? I need to know if Dr. Ladd is here. Second time she said blue. Have we got that?
4.5.
Okay. Got a lot of numbers coming out here, Henry.
I gotta be young. Radio.
Okay. Can you tell us how young you were when you passed away? Can you give us that number?
The growl.
Give me that
Sound.
number. Care about sounds when they hear growls and groans and shit. Pay attention to that. Henry, I want to know a number. How
With
old?
novel aftershave.
Henry. I'm looking for a
My
number.
father was a tent. Thank you for tuning in.
I like how she's looking directly at me.
We have feel free.
Henry, I got a large group here.
There's a man
Looking
More
at age
age
group.
It's about me.
maybe a gravel road with dirt on the sides.
You said he's in his mid-30s.
Looks to be mid-30s, 40s, full black suit, black shoes, looks like black hair. He has a tree on the left.
Does he have a mustache?
It's
Aye.
on the backside. He's walking right.
Always on.
Henry, I appreciate you trying to show us an image, but I would really like that number. That would clarify things for us. Can you tell us how old you were when you passed?
Guitar solo.
I like the when I was young, and then we get a picture of somebody in their 30s.
Mhm.
Nasty.
Henry, let's go on to something else. Are you okay with that? It's a yes/no question. You want to change the topic?
On me.
You want to keep it on you? Can you tell us what you wrote about? She's good at this. That's why I picked her. We're both good at it.
It's all about me.
There's a staircase. Looks like steps.
New York.
There's like a couple steps in there. And it takes a left.
Sometimes it seems.
What's the age of the house? What time period?
Early 1900s.
Henry, I want to go back to your work.
1858.
U.S.
Apparently I was wrong.
Disappearance. Over at 8. Aye.
I know, I'm doing the math. I was like,
68. Damn. Henry, what did you write about? You gave us all the things about writing. You gave us a novel, you gave us the word write, we have a library. Tell us what you wrote about. That's an easy one.
It's going really fast, but there's just nothing coming.
Are there any numbers coming through?
no, I know, and I'm not super paying attention to it. Because
We've had triple digits during this session, like over 100.
A little bit here.
You got anything on yours?
yeah, I was only getting big numbers over.
Lori, anything crazy?
No.
Looking for
At
the word.
12 guarded.
19.
Henry, let's go back to your work. Can you tell us what type
Mama.
of what you wrote about? You didn't always write novels.
Through evidence-based.
843 is our area code. I throw those away just so you guys know, just like the word Charleston when we're using Charleston radio
That made
stations.
crazy.
It's too easy. Henry, we're about halfway
Constant.
through this session. We're looking for more specific details about your work.
During the week. Stay inside the house.
Henry, what was the last word that you wrote? It was mortality, in case anybody forgot.
And let me try.
What was the last word that you wrote? I see that look, Chloe. This is what we do. This is why we do it. I'm looking for that last word, Henry. What was it? No. Try again.
My love.
Wow.
Me.
You want to talk about your wife?
Income.
Henry. We're down to about 4 minutes.
Your health.
3 minutes. I asked about your age. I asked about what you wrote about. I asked about your work. You said love. You want to talk about your wife?
I see a long hallway.
Okay.
It just goes into blackness. With
Jesus.
Jesus.
I wish this was timed, guys. I can't make this stuff up.
Show me the way.
Show you the way
7-0.
to where?
They give brown plain.
Henry, let's
Stacy.
verify something that we can visually see. Can you tell us about the church across the street? I normally ask you for the sound that we get out of the church, but I'll also take the name of the church. St. Michael's, everybody, just in case you guys are
Bianca's on the line.
Love.
more love again.
I am.
Henry,
Craziness.
we're almost out
Hey.
of time. Do you want us to go home? Aaron, you awake in there?
7.
Henry, if you want us to go home,
Minute.
just tell us. You're right. We actually have 1 minute to the almost to the second.
Every. Make mine.
Henry, we're gonna wrap this up in 1 minute exactly. Tell us to go home.
Impossible.
You want us to stay here?
Arms.
Necklace.
Story.
I'm not going into that right now.
Much. Tom Brady. Always.
Patriot.
Okay, Henry. Can you say goodnight? We're gonna wrap this up. Henry,
Beyond.
can you say goodnight back to us? Henry going once.
Go down.
Twice.
Stop.
Let's tap him up.
1, 2.